Hey, these brothers, I just wanted to take 5 seconds, man, to do something that I don't do enough, man, and it's say thank y'all for being a part of this channel, having been subscribed, whether you're just liking or commenting on videos. I appreciate all the love y'all give, and I never stop enough and tell y'all that, man. So I appreciate y'all, brothers, sisters, love y'all. Enjoy the video.
Why is it when women leave a relationship, they rack up hella fucking bodies, right? It's like an unspoken rule. They go through a weird hoe phase, right, where they just rack up hella bodies. And I just be like, so you didn't have nothing else planned? Like, you didn't want to go become a nurse? You didn't want to, like, go bungee jumping? You didn't want to travel? You just wanted to take down 10 big dick niggas? Like, this don't... And it just doesn't make sense. And then the guy actually levels up. 9 times out of 10, the guy, he kind of sleeps with like 1 or 2 people here and there, probably hit an old fling or something, but he gets a better job, he gets a bigger house. He actually does things to like basically make himself a better person. He self-reflects and is like, something is going on with me. Women, on the other hand, and I think it has a lot to do with our friends try to bring us out like, oh, you're single now, let's go out. And then you just go out and hookup culture begins. And then women go on a downward spiral for about a year to maybe 3 years. And that seems to be the typical trend for it. And then men, eventually get in a relationship, they work things out, blah, 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 blah. And the woman eventually regrets leaving the good man, right? But at the end of the day, I've always wondered that.
Man, I'm glad that a woman was the one to say it, because a lot of us men have always been aware that the most vulnerable time to catch a woman, if you want to catch her in a vulnerable state, is as soon as she gets out of a relationship. That's why when a woman posts "I'm single" and all these other kind of quotes, man, or posts, that's why men are quickly jumping into DM, man, because they're fully aware that, for the next few weeks, few months, in some cases few years, man, that woman's going to be on a completely different mission. She's going to be in a completely different vibe, man. But this is the thing, man. Like, it seems like this is just a thing that a lot of women do, but it's really not what it seems like on the outside. Like, you have to understand that to be a wife, or to walk in this wife type energy, like, that's a difficult thing. To walk in this wife type energy, and what I'm saying is, to see all these women in society conducting themselves like wives, or getting online saying, hey, you know what, I'm looking for a husband. Like, the numbers of women that are doing that, that's not normal. Like, even if you want to look at like biblical terms, when the Bible is talking about a woman walking in a wife energy, or being a virtuous woman, it talks about this group of women is small. And for a woman to even get to the point of walking in that energy, man, she has to go through a few things, man, which I'll try to remember to speak on here in a second. But you have to understand, that's not normal. So what we're seeing is, when a lot of these women are coming out of relationships, we're seeing them just really revert back to who they really are. They're not going through a phase. They're going back to their true identity. You know what I'm saying? And this is not about a good woman, bad woman. I'm just saying that a lot of women are moving in this state where they highly desire to sleep with a number of men, right? Just look at the cycles of their lives, right? Look at, like, when we were all back in high school, man, all the women that started feeling themselves around 17, 18, 19, like, those women that were baddies, or just pretty much most women in general, a lot of them went the route of, hey, you know what? I see I'm kind of hot. I see my body is doing a certain thing. I see that men are responding to me a certain way. Let me like they say for me, let me sow my oats. Let me kind of put myself out there and see what kind of quote unquote fun I can have for a while. Let me see what type men I can entertain, and what fringe benefits I can get. Right? Just kind of let me just live my life and be the greatest version of myself. Where a woman that's really not in that energy, like, there are a small group of women that when they come out of high school and they get in that college range, 18 to 25, they're looking for husbands the whole time. They're looking for husbands out the gate because they've done the things, they've done the work to be in that nature. But the far majority of women aren't in that nature. They aren't in that. You know what I'm saying? You can get on the gram in the book and see them talking about, I want a husband. Most of them don't really want that. Really what they're wanting is security, but it's going against their nature because they're still living in their nature. right? Anyway, we all see the same cycles. We see these women hit, 25, 26, 27, 20, that age range where they're saying, hey, you know what? I'm starting to see the patterns. I'm starting to see the writing on the wall that all these guys that I've been entertaining, that I thought that, hey, one day I would settle down with one of these guys. Like these guys aren't checking for me like that. Like, let me go back and look at my roster from high school. Let me go back and look at my yearbook, or let me start looking at the type guy that I wasn't looking at over the last 3 or 4 years, 5, 6 years, and let me start entertaining him, right? Because I understand my security is going to be there, and if I haven't already had a child with a Kiki or a Pookie or whatever, right? Then maybe I can find one of these quote unquote good guys to settle down and reproduce with, right? So what a woman does, she goes into simulation mode. She goes into a mode of like, let me start moving how a wife moves. Let me start doing the things that I saw Claire Huxtable doing on the Cosby Show. Let me start looking at all the the people that are wives and just move how they move. Let me conduct myself how they conduct themselves. And if you move like that long enough, man, and if you find a guy that really hasn't done his research or still has a lot of work to do, which a lot of us men still have a lot of work to do, then you can get past them. You can run a smoke screen on them, man, and you can get that ring and get married and have the kids and buy the house and buy the Benz and buy the da and play the game of life, right? But at some point in time, this is what's going to happen, brothers. When the honeymoon phase wears off, man, when the honeymoon phase wears off, she's going to go into a very dark spot. She's going to go into a spot where she's battling herself. You know what I'm saying? She's going to go into an energy where she's living a double life. She's going to go into an energy where she has to do a certain thing and be a certain way to manage that current reality, but at the same time, it's going to be going against her truth. It's going to be going against her nature. And I say nature because she's still being ruled by her nature. And it's going to cause major problems. And this is when you get online and see the women, like we've been seeing here rampant over the last couple of years. Hey, my husband is perfect. He's paying all the bills. He's a good father. He's a provider. He loves me. He takes me on trips. He does everything. I see nothing wrong. But I desire to be in the streets. I desire to be in the streets. And no one is immune to this. I see black women. I see Asian women. I see white women. This is just women in general. It's not specific to a certain race of women. But I'm saying that they're doing this because they're fighting their nature, man. They're fighting that nature to just be lustful. You have to understand that lustful energy comes simply from not being fulfilled, and lack of fulfillment strictly comes from not marrying yourself first. You know what I'm saying? Going back to the book, I'm always quoting the book, A Singular Truth. I always say, if you have two people that come together, on a second marriage of man, and they haven't married themselves first, they haven't found that fulfillment within themselves first, oh, you got problems, bro. You got major problems. And that's what we're seeing, man. So a lot of women are just playing the game, getting married or getting these serious relationships. So it seems like when they come out of these relationships and they revert back to that nature, they're and I'm using their words, they're free again. They're free to just be themselves, right? And I'm not saying there aren't some women that aren't in bad relationships and they really just want to come out and be whole again. I'm not saying that's not the case, but the far majority of people, man, far majority of these women, they want to get back and just revert to their nature, man. They just call it what it is, bro. I mean, whether you call it a 304 fade, whatever you call it, they want to be able to, they want the opportunity to hop on a variety of magic sticks. Call it what it is. And you can get online now, and there's a whole nother movement, and I'll call it movement, but you see a lot of women online now that are just saying, hey, you know what? I just want to be free. I just want to live my best life. I just want to, women that talk about that segment of living their life, man, you got to understand what they're really saying. What they're really saying is, I've gotten to the point where What they're saying is, I've gotten to the point now where my career can cover me, where all my bills are paid, my car is paid, like I got a little money in the bank. I can afford to take trips now. You have to understand that when a woman that's still living from her nature can take care of herself, oh, the last thing she's desiring is a long-term relationship, bro. That's the last thing she's desiring. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about a woman that's in her nature, not a woman that's fulfilled and complete. A woman that's still living off her nature. If she gets a bag, if she gets a settlement, if she gets a few bonuses and now the lights are no, there's no stress. Oh, the last thing she wants is a long-term relationship, bro. So a lot of these women are pushing the movement. Hey, I just want to be free. I just want to be free to do what I want to do. What I'm gonna tell you, these women are hopping from stick to stick on a consistent basis. And the thing is, I've been watching, not been watching, but I've seen a few of these videos, man, here lately, over the last couple of days, where there are women that are saying, I'll see if I can find that video and I can add it. Well, there are women that are saying, hey, you know what, man, I'm at the bar, I'm at the club, I'm at church, I'm wherever I am, right? And I meet this guy and he's sexy, man, and I'm trying to hook up. And they say, man, I'm just, and the girl, this is the word she used. She said, I'm just trying to get cracked. I'm just trying to get cracked. Like, I'm just trying to hook up with this dude, and he's trying to pursue me for a relationship. And now she's like, now I gotta play this game and try to navigate through these waters to get what I want from him. And you know, so what I'm saying is, man, you gotta understand, a lot of times, man, you out here approaching these women looking for a certain type thing, when the whole time she's not looking for that. Whole time she's not looking for that. And I'm speaking to a far majority of women, about a far majority of women. They aren't looking for that, man. They aren't looking for that at all. So man, don't even go that route when you meet a woman, man, until she proves that what she is. Because to be honest, and I'm not throwing shade or talking down on these women, I'm just saying, call it what it is. Because you might be a guy that's kind of just like, hey man, I'm just kind of going through my phase of life where I'm just building and yada yada yada. And if somebody want to hang out with me, then we can hang out. You know, we might can catch a movie or whatever once in a while, but most of the time we Netflix and chilling. A lot of women are vibrating there, man. So don't go out there and over commit to something that's not really trying to move like that. Is all I'm saying, man. A lot of women right now are desiring that freedom. You know what I'm saying? But again, man, you have to understand that a lot of women that are you know, putting the energy off of as wife type or serious relationship type, you have to understand that technically they will live the remainder of their days in a whole phase until there's fulfillment. If there's never that fulfillment, then they will live the remainder of their days in that energy. Like, it's who they are. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that as, oh man, leave it. I'm just, let's call it what it is. Let's call it what it is, man. Because when I say fulfillment, you have to understand, until these women have found self, they're always, this is how you'll know, man. They're always going to be addicted to something. That's the first sign. They're always going to be addicted to the things of this world. They're never going to be content with anything. You know what I'm saying? They're always going to... Have you ever dated a woman, man, that has to be drunk every time you see them? Or sipping on something every single time you see them? Smoking on something every time you see them? Every time? Casino every time you see them? You know what I'm saying? These same women that have these vices, man, they've just added sex to the list. So anybody that doesn't know, that has no control, that's a telltale sign, man, that she's not really that thing she's portraying herself to be. And one way you can just tell, this is how you can tell, man, if a woman is really in that 304 energy. And only a few brothers will be able to do this, I believe, man. But you can really tell what energy a woman is in by simply asking her, like simply asking her a series of questions to determine how she sees the world. Like, how do you see the world? Like, in other words, let me listen to your conversation and see if your conversation is that of one that has connected the dots and seen God and now fulfilled and now can be in an X amount of relationship, right? Or X type relationship. Because if not, I'm not going to treat you like wife type, right? And that way is just simply seeing how she sees the world. You can simply ask her about her exes, which I'm not one to really be asking some dude, some chick about, or some woman about her past. But if you hear her talk about her exes, listen to how she talks about them. Listen to how she talks about people that look different than her. Maybe different races, maybe different languages, different creeds, different cultures, different religions, different political affiliations. Listen to how she speaks about people that oppose her thoughts. Just simply ask her questions, man, on how she views the world. And if you're one that's up on game, you'll be able to hear if she's plugged in or not. You'll be able to hear if she's fulfilled or not. And I'm gonna tell you this: if she's not living life from that fulfilled spot, you can bet your bottom dollar, man, that low key she's still in that 304 phase. Right? She's still in that 304 phase. You know what I'm saying? So you have to just know. You have to just know, man, that regardless of what y'all are doing, what y'all have titled yourselves to be, what how much time y'all spend together, you have to know, man, that low key she's still craving other sticks, man.